Welcome back, everybody. I have now another, it's a kind of a romantic comedy to share with you guys this time around. And no surprise on who the star is of this movie. But in this movie, the director is somebody totally different. And I tell you what, it's definitely, you know, a good movie to watch. And I tell you what, it is, you know, I'm trying to see, this was released back in 1993, and it's Benny and Joon. I actually have a very hysterical story about this movie here in a moment, but I want to say who all's in this movie with Johny Depp. It's Mary Stuart Masterson, Aidan Quinn, who I talked about in Practical Magic, Julianne Moore, Oliver Platt, Dan Hieta. Dan Hieta is in the two Addams Family movies with Raul Julia, the late Raul Julia, and Angelica Houston, and Christina Ricci. Of course, if you remember, I reviewed Sleepy Hollow that's got Johny Depp in it, and Christina Ricci, but Christina's all grown up in that movie. Anyway, this movie is just absolutely an adorable movie. I mean, it talks about mental illness, granted, but it's, you know, a really cute movie. Johny Depp actually plays, he doesn't have the mental illness. Mary Stuart Masterson's character's got the mental illness. But it's a good movie. Mary Stuart Masterson did a really good job playing Joon. Aidan Quinn plays Benny. Well, anyway, I have to tell this absolutely hilarious story about this movie. Because this one is the one that I've mentioned that I've got a truly funny story on. Okay, my dad has two younger siblings. One of them is named Benny, and the other one's named Joon. It's a brother or sister, obviously. And Joon is spelled J, like the month, June. And Benny's spelled just like you think it is, B-E-N-N-Y. Well, anyway, when this movie came out, I, you know, was a teenager at the time. And I remember looking at my mom, and we're talking about stuff we want, like a movie we wanted to go watch, and I said, well, I want to go see Benny and Joon. My mother didn't apparently realize at the time that there was a movie called Benny and Joon, this movie. And she's like, well, I don't know where Benny is and Joon's dead. I'm like, by the way, Joon died at the age of 11. I have to kind of tell you that part, but that aside, enough about sad things. Well, anyway, Dad, or Mom, after I showed her this in a movie trailer on the television, she went, oh. And I said, yeah. I said, I want to go see Benny and Joon, and pointed at the television. I was like, that, Mom, not Dad's siblings. And, you know, the story, I got another story about that, too. A few years ago, when Dad's brother Benny had brain surgery after cancer, I went and seen him at Benny in the hospital, and I told him the story I just told you, and he laughed. I said, I know you're just getting over surgery. I said, but I've got a really funny story to tell you. And, you know, I said, it's a true story. I said, it's absolutely hysterical. I go, and it involves you. And I told him, and he laughed. He laughed. He had a tube coming out of the back of his head, and, you know, he says, that makes me feel better hearing a ridiculous story like that. I said, I know. I said, I just rolled my eyes at my mom. I went, Mom, please. I mean, and that also goes back in with, you know, Big Fish and everything. You know, it's like you talk to your parents and they're like total, like, you know, the miscommunication between the generations. But anyway, back to Benny and Joon, this movie here. This is just an adorable movie. And I do highly recommend it. It is a PG, and it is just a great movie. I happen to like Julianne Moore and Mary Stuart Masterson, and of course Johny Depp. That goes without saying, considering I've reviewed a whole bunch of Johnny's movies that I happen to own. And as far as Aidan Quinn goes, this movie and Practical Magic are the only two I have that he's in. As far as Oliver Platt goes, I think he's good looking. He's kind of, in my opinion, the chubby version of Antonio Banderas. And I liked Oliver Platt in this movie. He also was in Three Musketeers with Kiefer Sutherland. And, I keep talking about Kiefer here. And I've got another movie that Kiefer's in that I'm going to review here momentarily. So watch out for that. But anyway, I do recommend watching Benny and Joon. But do take it under advisement that it does talk about mental health issues. And, relationships between, like, brother-sister. And I think it is a great, family-type movie. And, it talks about, like, the relationship between, like, a brother and a sister as they, like, grow up and, need to take care of themselves and everything, basically. So, hang on. I'm going to do some more movie reviews, and we'll get cracking, okay? Yeah.